going back to your shows and with kind of hitting the circuit around the country, how's that been this year?
It was great. Great experience. I'll never do it again. I'm just kidding. I'll never drive it again.
Okay.
I mean, so we bought our new truck at the end of February.
Okay.
We're in November.
Okay.
It has 33,000 miles on it.
Wow.
Yeah. So luckily I put the 100,000 mile warranty on it because I'd be at the end of that.
So this is just so everyone understands. You're in Orlando. You load up sauces, you load up your tent, the Stank Tank, tables, POS, everything, and you hit the road.
Yep, and I love it because a lot of people have been calling it the Stank Tank, our truck. So that's just the name we get.
Yeah.
I like to name all my vehicles, and it's usually like a female name, but we'll just go with Stank Tank because that's what it's hit like that. I put 121 cases in my truck at the beginning, at the end of July. Drove up to Illinois for the Illinois Hot Sauce Expo in Joliet, Illinois. Did that. Very successful. We had a lot of success there last year. Illinois is our second most shipped to state in the country.
Really?
So the hot sauce community up there is crazy.
Do you think a lot of that's afterburn from the shows?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what we're hoping with all these other ones now. So I took off there, stopped in Philly with Roddy.
Yep.
Next weekend was the New England Hot Sauce Festival, which was in New
Hampshire, right? Yep.
Yeah. So I wasn't a vendor there.
Yep. And that was Gabe Spicy Shark that promoted it. Awesome.
Yeah, and
awesome.
we got to spend time with Gabe this past weekend. He was our neighbor.
Oh, good.
So every event we do, we want to make sure that we have a different hot sauce company that pops up next to us, so that we build a new relationship with someone.
Yep.
And Gabe was next to us, and then Point Blank was on the other side. They were awesome.
Where are they from? I don't know if I'm familiar.
They're from California.
Right?
No,
Okay.
they're Point Blank's from Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, Atlanta.
And they focus more on like pickled peppers.
Interesting.
They have
They're
really cool
pickled
stuff.
and they're
peppers.
a little spicy.
Yeah, it was great, and the wife makes these oatmeal cookies with the peppers. It was
What?
delicious. I gained a couple pounds this
Oh
weekend.
my
but-
goodness.
Yeah. So
Now, were you over the summer where you would kind of connect the dots when you could, then you'd come back to recharge, or were you were just out?
I was gone for 5 weeks. So then I did that, hung out. It's great to go to these events and just get to like experience as a consumer.
Yeah.
Then the very next weekend, I was in Cincinnati for Jungle Gym's Weekend of Fire.
And how was that?
That was really cool. Very busy. Jungle Gyms has a very, very loyal customer base, and their hot sauce consumers. I mean, they have 1,800 hot sauces that they carry.
And were you a vendor there, or
you're okay? So they carry our products, and then we were one of the vendors at the actual event. So it's great because now we have these people that have been able to come and taste it, and they come around. They don't necessarily buy, but they create a list. They have books.
Really?
They have lists. They're taking notes on every sauce.
Wow.
And basically what I know is that they're going to just like, okay, the next sauce I'm going to taste is this one. Next one I'm going to do is this one. So going there is, it's a long-term play for building a relationship with someone that's going to buy your sauce all the time. Have you been to Jungle Gyms?
No, I haven't.
So Jungle Gyms is like going to a grocery store for the first time and going to Disney World for the first time at the same time.
Wow.
It's an insane experience.
It's huge, right? It's
huge.
massive.
When you walk in, they give you a map.
A map.
Yeah, a map.
Their wine and beer section is the size of Publix.
Yeah.
Just the wine and beer section alone.
Wow.
You'll walk into like a freezer. You're like, I just walked into a freezer. What's going on in here?
Oh my gosh,
they have 2 locations. So
that's crazy. Now, have you going to all these shows as a exhibitor and a guest and all that? Have you learned anything or had any soul searching from people coming up and giving you feedback on sauces that you're incorporating into future products? Anything that's jumping out at you that, or people say things you're like, oh, I wasn't like stuff they put it on, or anything coming out that you didn't even think of, or ways people use your sauces that you.
That's my favorite thing is if someone's used it on something. They're like, oh man, I use this all the time on like my peanuts, and I'm like, peanuts, okay, sure. We've had. I don't know if that's actually something someone said, but I'm sure.
I think it actually is.
Yeah. Some people say some stuff. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Right.
We've had people use the agave jalapeno straight up as a salad dressing. So that's a cool
Wow.
one, you know.
I think one of the things that I kind of get a lot is people always say it needs to be spicier. You know, that's one of the feedbacks that you get. But again, that's not part of our branding. There's so many other great companies out there that will fulfill that need. It's not necessarily what we do. And yes, we are playing with different peppers down the line to get a little spicier. But yeah, that's one of the big feedbacks that I
Yeah,
get.
but flavors first. Yeah, we get that. Oh, this is not hot enough. I've had people come up and with their kids, and their kids love the sauces. And yes, everybody, kids like spicy food.
Yeah.
We need to stop. Oh, that's too spicy for my kids. No, trust me that kids nowadays have a higher tolerance than their parents because they go to school and their kids, all their buddies have hot Cheetos and Takis and stuff, and they're doing, so they come up and they're like, oh, Dad, I really like this one. And then the dad's like, this is not hot enough. Let's go.
This is not hot enough.
Like,
Let's go.
I was like, no, but what about your son who really wants to try them all? So, you know, it is what it is, and you got to kind of just let it go. But for the most part, everybody's loving it.
Yeah,
you know,
that's awesome.
This is made when people come up and they say, "Oh, I don't do hot sauce. I'm just hanging out with my friends." It's like, well, you are my target audience.
Yes.
I want to convert you. I want you to get into the world of spicy foods. That is our mission as a company, is to introduce people into the world of spicy foods. So come and feed adventure with us. And they do it, and they end up buying, for the most part, they buy one of these two sauces, whether it's the honey mango or the agave jalapeno. And they feel proud of themselves for like
getting that step.
it started.
And then you hear, oh, this is actually really good. And they don't mean it like in an insulting way.
Correct.
But it's just, you're like,
yeah, you've gotten that a few times, right? This is actually really
good.
Like,
oh, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, it's not too spicy. Yeah, I know. So what kicks off your circuit next year? You guys doing fiery foods in Albuquerque?
So yeah. Oh well, so after Jungle Gyms, I drove out to Portland for the Portland.
Oh,
Hot Sauce
okay,
Expo.
I'm jumping ahead here. Okay, how was that? I heard that one's amazing.
Dude,
I've never
by
been
far
there.
the best event we've ever done.
Really?
My mom flew out for that one. Our buddy Shane, who's kind of like at this point our third person.
Yeah.
He came out. So I had 3 people, and then I had his brother who lives in Portland, like 3 miles down the road. So he was helping kind of like restock stuff. At one point for 5 hours straight, we had 40 people in line nonstop.
What?
Nonstop. Us, and then Scott from Lucky Dog was right next to us. The two of us just had lines that were blocking the walkway.
Gosh.
It was nuts. It was crazy. It was an awesome event. So I would definitely go out to that one again. I'm not going to drive there.
Yeah.
I will fly there. But then I came back. 2 weeks later, we had Atlanta. Then drove back. Then 2 weeks later, we had Bowers in Pennsylvania. Drove back. 2 weeks later, we had New York. We flew out to that. Came
And
back.
how was New York?
New York was nuts.
Yeah.
We got there in
was
the middle
fun.
of like a storm. It was
It was underwater, yeah.
the
Really?
city was in a state of emergency.
Oh my goodness.
The airports were flooded, so flights couldn't cut. I think Eric was the last flight.
I think I was the last
able
flight
to
that was able to
in
land,
JFK. And then some of the other hot sauce companies were being rerouted to like Jersey and had to bus in to the event. But other than that, it was crazy.
We had a good time.
Yeah, we were next to Heatnist, so we had Sean Evans was there.
Awesome.
Dustin Poirier was there. So there was a lot of crowds.
A lot of
by
buzz
us.
going on.
So by default, they would see what Stanky sauce. Okay, now you know who we are.
Yeah.
So
That's great. Man, I don't think I've talked to anyone else that's ran the circuit that hard. I mean, you guys are crushing it.
Oh, and we just came
tired.
back from he's exhausted. This man needs a vacation.
Yeah.
But we also just came back from Nashville because we were at the Tennessee Hot Sauce Expo over there. It was the first year, but it was, Nashville never disappoints.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
I miss it already.
But I think the coolest thing about doing these events is you really get to connect with the community, not just the consumer, but the hot sauce makers as well. And the coolest thing about what we do is everybody has a passion for what they do, and there's only few people that know what you're going through.
Yeah.
And these people understand you. These people know what you're doing. And the way I see it is the more sauce makers that are out there that are doing good sauces and doing it right, the better it is for the industry, and there's enough for everybody to eat. You know?
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. It's a consumable. So you go through them and then you buy more and try something new and go back to that. I mean, and helping each other out is
Like
just
beer. Like,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
If a bar was serving one beer, that would be so boring. You want to go to a bar that has 100 beers on tap, and you want to go, I want one of each.
Yeah.
Maybe
Sounds
not just today.
irresponsible, but yeah.
But to answer your question, we start our 2024 circuit starts in Albuquerque, which is where we met you 2 years ago for the first time, where we just showed up randomly to enjoy the event. So
and you're like, this is wild.
Yeah, so we changed our spot. We're going to be right next to, right off the stage. It's a corner spot. So stage and the bar is right across from us. Maybe strategically placed, but towards the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, very much looking forward to being back in Albuquerque.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that show. There's so many people there, and between it being packed with people that are, because the show's, someone will correct me in the comments, but 35 plus years old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be one of the oldest shows in the country.
Yeah.
And so the cult-like following of the show, and then, it's all the, I put you guys in the heavy hitter category. It's all the heavy hitter sauce makers and a great weekend and everything. So I really look forward to it every year on my calendar. That's for sure.